Welcome, everybody, to episode 149 of the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card Podcast. We are your hosts, Adam, Amy, and Russell Gibson. How you doing, Russell?
Yeah, mate, I'm very, very, very good. A small part of me is a little bit sad that the NBA season's finished, but in saying that, we had some really big news this week in the NBA, so I was just kind of like, it's okay, like there's still NBA stuff happening.
Yeah, I guess there's less to watch. I mean, we've got obviously a draft coming up and some
WNBA to watch in the interim,
and the Olympics are coming up soon. So we've got some some internationals to watch, some Australian basketball and Team USA that's being assembled. But yes, there's still plenty. This is a 365-day-a-year sport nowadays.
Yeah. That's one thing that the NBA has done now very well in terms of their scheduling. It just doesn't stop. It's perfect. They've done it really, really well.
And the media, of course.
They don't stop. Yeah.
Yes. Speaking of the media, we should probably start things off by talking to our regular listeners, or the ones that do normally join us on the Facebook Live.
Yeah.
We've moved.
We were forced to move.
Yeah, all right. So the software that I use for the live stream doesn't like groups anymore. So because we've been doing YouTube live anyway, we decided, well, why don't we just tell everybody that we're over there on YouTube?
Yeah, self-promotion hasn't been our strongest point over these years, but that's okay. We have to... There's actually over 160 videos, something like this on YouTube. So we actually are on there. And if you would like to join us live each week,
you'll get a notification. You tick that. Wow, come on.
Here we go. This is where we need to say you have to subscribe and
click that, hit that bell so you get notified when we go live.
Like every other annoying YouTuber that says that, and I hate it when people say that, and I never subscribe and like if they ask me to do it. But we're going to be those
thumbs
people.
Up. Give us that like. That's right. Just jump on the episode. You don't have to hang around
for your own good. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Like, let the algorithm know that we exist. I mean, we did jump across to YouTube podcast as well recently.
Yeah.
So the whole library is there. All after this week, 149 episodes will be up and available, I think. I hope.
Yeah, so a little bit of a segue in just my own personal rant here. So I used to use Google Podcast, but
I've never used Google Podcast.
It's it speaks to my soul. It's very slimlined. It's easy. It's great. So when they're getting rid of it, I was like, okay, great. Now I need to find a new one. So I tried TuneIn. It plays ads. The ad comes from the app. Then you get ads from the podcast.
So you get ads on ads.
And then it'll actually play an ad over the top while the podcast is playing. It's diabolical.
That's Inception.
And by the way, we're not getting paid for any of this commentary I'm about to say. Actually, the YouTube podcast app feature is quite good. It's not as good as Google Podcast, but
YouTube's got an app feature for the podcasting, has it?
Yeah, it's like a tab.
So don't go to TuneIn, you get ads and ads. So if you go to YouTube, you just get ads and then our ads, and that's it.
That's just confusing.
That's too many ads.
I think we've segued pretty hard right now. Should we get back to the regular content? So we have a guest coming up in the next week. Rod Adams is going to come on and have a bit of a chat to us about hobby scams and what to be aware of. So that will be good.
Yeah.
And then
eye-opening, I think.
Then the hobby hangout is coming up. So we will be there. We'll be on stage. We will be doing a podcast.
Lawfully on stage? Like, they'll actually let us... We don't have to, jump up and get kicked out for doing any... All right.
I'm not sure about that.
We're not sure about the details yet.
Doing a live podcast. That I am certain of.
Cool.
And we'll be there to talk to people and say hello. So I think this is the perfect time to jump into the important details. So it's the 30th of June at the Melbourne Pavilion.
Yep.
135 to 157 Racecourse Road. If you're someone like me who doesn't particularly like driving, you can public transport it down. There's also parking there, but if I do recall parking there, it was a little bit tricky. So don't get there late hoping to get a park out the front. You're not going to get pole position turning up late, guys. It's just not going to happen. My
Good
other
call.
recollection too from the hobby hangouts, people queue up early. So if you do want to get in there by doors open, you will need to get there fashionably early and jump in the queue.
Should be a good day though. I think
Amazing day.
It'll be a great day down there. Lots happening. As you've said, we will be down there talking to people. We'll be doing our show, crashing the stage.
And
Did you say
just
crashing the stage?
Probably not crashing because the next person that they've actually just announced that'll be there is Jake Matthews. So I don't think we should be crashing the stage of a USC athlete, Addy.
All right.
It's not good for our self-preservation.
Yeah, you're right. You're probably right there. I'm not getting no, not at that stage anyway. Maybe after.
Definitely not. Lane Pierce will be on there doing a workshop. Matthew Payne will be doing a panel. Live podcast from us and also the boys at Double Coverage. So we hope to catch up with them.
Yeah,
and just a smattering of other people. Slaw Collectibles, Mailman Breaks, Trident Collectibles, Jammer Collectibles, Rocket Collectibles. I don't think I've announced that one. Palms Off, I've said that one. Boop Collectibles, The Card Cave, Collector's Space, J Swish Collectibles, tickets at thehobbyhangout.com.au. Get on there, grab your tickets. Just make sure that you don't turn up on the day with no ticket and it's sold out. That will be a bad outcome for you.
Yes.
You want your ticket to get in there. So,
yeah, it's going to be a good day. See you all there for those that are.
In Melbourne.
In Melbourne, of course. So I know that the season did end. Shall we recap the end of the season? There was one more game to go.
Yeah.
Well, potentially one more game to go. Last time we spoke.
Yeah.
The Celtics really just closed it out. In Game 5. It wasn't an interesting watch.
Well, my brain was split into two because half of me was like, what you just said, not particularly that interesting. But the other part of it too is I was like, can Luka get 5 threes in a row and, make this interesting? Did you have that slight thought in the back of your head, or am I the only one in the room that was thinking this?
I think it was destined to be the game that it was.
Yeah, sure.
And I just don't think, I don't think Luka had anything left in the tank, really.
Yep. They had a murderous row playoff run just to get there. Whereas on the flip side of that, the Celtics had a very fortuitous and well-deserved because they had the number 1 seed, and that's what you get when you're the number 1 seed. You're supposed to get the easiest, path to the finals. That's the idea.
Well, as the number 1 seed, they also had the great luck of every opponent they're facing having their star player.
And that too. That's right. Definitely fortuitous. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
It was definitely a 4-leaf clover.
Why don't we let's just get your feelings on the NBA Finals champion Boston Celtics. Well, how do you feel about the Celtics as champions?
I never feel good about the Celtics as champions.
Okay.
That's a Lakers thing.
But do you think they're a worthy champion? Do you think
they were the best team all year? Like on paper, they were the best. That was the best lineup. They finished the season, I think it was a dozen games in front of the rest of the league.
Yeah, definitely.
Like their regular season record just like showed their dominance from very, very early on. They didn't take the foot off the gas all year, and they showed that when they got to the playoffs. It was like 16. Was it 16-2?
Yeah,
that was their record in the playoffs.
Yeah,
it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's wild.
Quite disrespectful that the last 2 championships they won were in 08 and 24. There was a few people that called that out.
That is some high level Kobe maths.
Yeah. Tatum's happy about that.
So for me, as champions, I would like to give them respect because for me, there's nothing that they've done to not give them that love and respect. That's where I'm sort of at with that.
For sure.
And I think also too, I'm critical of people when they don't act in a high character way. So I think when people behave well and also become a champion, I think I want to give them their credit on that. Like, and if you think about Jason Tatum, have you ever heard a bad word about this guy in terms of speeding tickets or, being in nightclubs and fighting, all this type of stuff? And same as, Jaylen Brown. I think, as you sort of go through that roster, there are, a bunch of high character guys. I mean, you could probably argue the worst character guy is their head coach that had some weird infraction 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's not a lot going on in that space there. So look, I love all that type of stuff. So I think for me, that's really cool. And then the other part that my brain immediately goes to, whether that's being planted by just this mass media machine that we're in now too, is I think they've got another championship run in them. There's nothing that I sort of really look at that roster and think, oh, this wheel's going to fall off and that's going to hold this team back. Like their salary cap is structured really well.
They've got a window. They've got a big window
they
right
can
now.
still actually add pieces to this roster with it. You know, the only one obviously is Porzingis. It's the ongoing injury problem, but that didn't really seem to be much of a problem this year. And I think if we're being realistic about the upgrade that they made from Time Lord to him, you can sort of say technically, well, Porzingis probably would have played more games than Time Lord this year anyway. So
yeah,
I'm totally fine with all of that. So anyway, look, congratulations to them. I think to the Dallas Mavericks fans and the team themselves, I don't think you've got anything to be ashamed of either. I think they had an amazing run.
Yeah,
and I think
I tend to agree with that.
Their mid-season acquisitions were just huge, and I think maybe the front office of the Mavericks should probably get a little bit more commendations, because I think there wasn't that many other teams that really made as prolific moves, maybe other than the Celtics, realistically.
Yeah.
Going into this year, so Jaylen Brown got the MVP over Tatum. What are the narrative implications of this for you? So, for example, for me, what I'm meaning by this is that, do you think that it could possibly cause friction between Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and actually that would be the thing that's going to make this team combust? Do you think that it's not a problem at all, and actually it's just another example of when Andre Iguodala won the Finals MVP, but Steph was absolutely the man of that team, and there's no question about that.
And there was no doubt about that whatsoever, was there?
But for some silly reason, Iguodala got it anyway. And look, I personally, that's where I put that MVP for Jaylen Brown into, because the numbers just weren't there. And I think that I actually have a really big problem sort of understanding why he actually did get the award over Tatum. And so I wanted to talk to you about that too. So I've really asked you two questions here, but where are you at with that?
With Jaylen Brown getting Finals MVP, I'm okay with it. Like I felt like Brown stepped up, whereas Tatum found out what role he needed to play.
Yeah,
and I don't have a problem with that. But yeah, I think Jason Tatum showed that he can adjust in a big game, but I don't think he stepped up and sort of grabbed the bull by the horns, so to speak.
Yep.
But he was a bit. They've been that from day one. They've been a team first group, and their number 1 and 2 are very interchangeable in the fact that, because Brown got the Larry Bird Trophy, didn't he? The Eastern Finals MVP.
Brown did, yeah.
Yeah. So he's sort of already showing that he was on the radar of the media voting as being the most important player in that Boston unit.
Yep.
So
stats don't always tell the full story, but I think this is definitely worth saying. So Jason Tatum, 22 points, 7.8 rebounds, 7.2 assists, and 1 steal. This is finals numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Jaylen Brown, 20.8 points. So Tatum outscored him. Jaylen Brown, 5.4 rebounds. So again, Tatum out-rebounded him. Mm-hmm. Jaylen Brown, 5 assists. Again, Tatum out-assisted him. Jaylen Brown, 1.6 steals. He beat Tatum in steals. Like, to me, that's a really interesting stats summary.
So I think impact-wise, where the scoring run happens, you'll see that Brown's points came at more pivotal times.
Sure.
That's my understanding in games. I think it was game 2 was the real. It was neck and neck, and then Brown decided to put the foot down, kind of thing.
Yeah,
he's the one that sort of lit things up and took over the game, and I think that's where the judges made their mind up.
Yeah,
and I think their minds were made up by the end of game 3.
Yeah,
so games 4 and 5 may not have impacted that at all.
I entirely agree with that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I
did see a joke meme about Scott Foster getting votes for Finals MVP when the Mavericks took Game 4. But
So let's turn this into a card conversation because, let's be honest, that's what we're all here for.
Yes.
As we stand today, Luka Doncic last sold for 1,048. Now, in the last 3 months, he's actually down nearly 10%. Jason Tatum, current price 860. He's up 13%. And Jaylen Brown is currently trading at 367. These are all USD prices.
Mm-hmm.
And he is up 65%. And actually, if it had been from, say, 3 sales before, he might have even been up 70 or 75%. So
Wow.
Which of these do you think is the better purchase at?
I'd be remiss if I didn't say Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, okay.
But the question on it's still funny that you only get over Luka when you combine these two.
Yeah.
Like that neither of the Boston players are as highly valued as Luka. And if you combine the population of their PSA 10s, you still don't get like to half the population of Luka.
Yeah.
And I think pop count does make a difference here, which is where I just the Luka value baffles me with the pop count there. I just think there's value in Jaylen Brown. I think he's a $500 player.
Yeah.
At
so
least.
I'm fine with that. Now, I tell you where my head has been leaning the last couple of weeks, though, is I think part of it is you in my ear every week telling me that Luka is overs, but I'm actually beginning to sort of lean towards that maybe Tatum is a little bit unders because
Ooh, I like that.
like he's ticked so many boxes now. Population is much, much healthier on this than the Luka. There's 3 times less Tatums than Lukas.
Yep.
The price is there. He's a young guy, so that's another statistic that came up this week. Ages of NBA stars when they won their first title. Jason Tatum is 26.
Yep.
Jaylen Brown 27. Steph Curry 27. LeBron James 27. Shaq and Jordan 28. Kevin Durant 28. Dirk Nowitzki 31. Probably not the best example, but here it is. 2 others that weren't included in this graphic, I looked these up. Kobe Bryant was 21. I checked that twice.
Yeah. It was like his, third year with Shaq? Fourth year with Shaq? Yeah, third year, yep.
Hakeem Olajuwon was 31.
Mm-hmm.
But he was also in an era where there was a very dominant man named Michael Jordan running around, so that probably messed him up a little bit.
He waited and Hakeem got his when Jordan retired, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. It doesn't even make me mad when people say that. Like it was,
No, but I was just like, if that guy Jordan hadn't retired.
Man, he wasn't retired, okay? He was on a suspension for a gambling debt. Let's that's not Hakeem's fault, all right? Anyway, so I put this post up a couple of times. Once on Sports Cards Nonsense. So again, admin of Sports Cards Nonsense and the boys at Sports Cards Nonsense, keep up the great work. There's 110 comments here. We're not reading through them all, but to summarize a few of the key points, there are some very passionate people about this on both sides. But one thing that keeps coming up through this thread is that the potential for Luka and what he's already done and where he's going to. That is something that hobbyists have really subscribed into this theory. So I think that helps explain a lot about the value obviously there, but also the population counts. That's not something that people are particularly fussed about.
Yeah.
One really interesting one came up. This is from, Brian Bilou. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Jaylen Brown is the most affordable and I feel has the most upside. All of these players are future Hall of Famers in Brian's opinion. And that's something I hadn't really thought about with Jaylen Brown, that he'll be a Hall of Famer. But if you think about some of the guys that get there who've maybe done less, it's not the most outrageous thing to say considering that he's still a young guy.
NBA Finals MVP.
That's right. And still got a chance to run it back for 2 or 3 more years. I'm totally down with this.
Yeah.
Well,
he's got more Finals MVPs than the other 2 on that comparison. Shots fired already.
Yes. Yes, he does. This is going to give you unlimited ammunition. Remember who got the Finals MVP? Yeah.
How's Luka doing? Still got same amount of Finals MVPs as Jason Tatum. And Jason Tatum's an NBA champion. Anyway.
Now, there was a couple of responses that all of these 3 guys are good to buy. I'm down with that too, actually.
Yeah.
It's not the worst 3 players to be, choosing through. A few people were pulling me up on my grammar, the way that I worded the post. So, guys, thank you so much. I always love when people
Thanks for caring.
edits and correct
Yeah.
my grammar. Now, back at home, Andrew Suter Hewitt. I would love to see a chart of how strong and popular the hobby was through these years. A lot of people got back into the hobby 1890s who always value Luka. Don't get me wrong, Luka is a great player, besides always sooking to the refs, but I feel a lot of people are too invested paying the price of future GOAT. Tatum and Brown would be where I would put my investment money. And look, that's an interesting point, isn't it? That it's almost like your own recency bias. Like if you grew up in the age of Kobe Bryant, that was your
Mm-hmm.
GOAT. If you grew up in the age of Steph Curry, that was your man. For me, I grew
Yeah.
up in the era of Hakeem Olajuwon. That was my
Yeah.
man. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
And did you want to read Anthony Mills?
Yes, Anthony Milne said, "I'd still invest in Luka. Tatum winning the title still overshadowed by Brown MVP, and Luka being the Lone Ranger in Dallas, and that hype still burning. There's always going to be the hype investment on Luka being only 24. He's actually turned 25 now, so
Okay.
but yes, I don't know. I still the
So
pop count for me.
the narrative here is easy though when you think about it. Tatum had to go through all these playoff battles and failures.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, makes it to the finals.
Yep.
So for me that's easy to to play that out basically.
Yep.
Yeah. Really quickly before we go to our first break, the Jason Tatum green 1-of-1 Kaboom surfaced recently. So actually, this was 2 weeks ago.
The fact that it's green is insane, right?
Yeah. So that's right. You froth over color matches. I thought you might be interested in this card.
Love a good color match.
The green 1-of-1, I'm not too sure about. I'm still going to stick by this. I think black or platinum or something. I think green is tricky, but for green for Celtics and green for
Yeah.
maybe the Hornets or something like this, that you could maybe sort of push that into a color match. Maybe the Timberwolves, that sort of fluoro green.
Oh yeah, true.
Maybe
true,
pair that out. But yeah, I am with you on this one. I don't think this card should be sent to grading though. I think East-West, there's still a bit of centering problems on this.
It should just be. Shouldn't it just be authenticated? It's a 1-of-1. Center it, like really? I reckon they were intentionally trimmed. That they were intentionally framed that way because of the explosion. It's been put off center.
I'm gonna no comment that one, mate.
Yep.
Anyway, congratulations to the kiddo. That's an old timer.
Like, can you imagine having that in hand?
No,
that is a sexy card.
I would be quite concerned about holding that thing out.
And he's got the black jersey on, so the green really pops.
Yeah, they've nailed it. Panini does some good stuff. It's not all doom and gloom when it comes to Panini, but actually, this is probably the best Panini example, isn't it? They've actually nailed the card itself, but then it's off-centered. Like, is that the best summary for the?
It's like,
Panini
this
era?
is the best looking card, and it's
Hang
Panini, so it's off. Yeah. Of course.
Let's go to a break, and we'll be right back. Alrighty, we are back. Adam, how did you enjoy your little refresher? How did you go?
A break is always good. It's always nice chance to grab a drink and settle back in for some more.
Are you a Coke or Pepsi man? I've never asked you this question.
Ooh, I used to be a Pepsi Max guy. But and this is interesting because Diet Coke versus Pepsi Max, I was Pepsi Max all day when I was young. Yeah. And now since Coke Zero, I'm a Coke Zero guy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now, Central Coast Radio. We are on Central Coast Radio 3 times a week. Wow. Tuesdays at 11 p.m. Melbourne time. Thursdays, 10 a.m. Melbourne time. Saturday night, 3 a.m. If you are up raging and you need to listen to some tunes and some sports card
I am so going to get drunk one of these days and it's going to be like 2 a.m. I'm like, stay up for another hour. We're on the radio.
Yeah. CentralCoastRadio.com is where you will hear us on the radio. So we talk sports, we talk cards, we play music. Really ticks a lot of boxes for my life. So yeah, thank you for Central Coast Radio for picking us up and giving us the support. We're very, very grateful. Our next agenda item is Joshua Giddey being traded to the Chicago Bulls. for one
It was
Alex Caruso in
it
a
was a
straight up
straight
trade.
up trade.
No draft assets were exchanged in this deal.
There are a couple of memes that went around pretty quickly, actually.
So a lot of chatter was created by this trade. A lot of chatter, and I feel like there's basically three main opinions about this. This is my view on it. Is that it's a win-win trade. Both teams are going to benefit from this trade. The Bulls have won because they're picking up a younger asset.
Yes.
And this is where I'm lying. You don't trade old for young, and you don't trade big for small. So the comparison I'm saying on this, and this is a terrible example, but this is the best one I could think of.
Yep.
This is the Chris Webber for Mitch Richmond trade back in the day. And we all know who won that trade, hands down, which was the Sacramento Kings picking up the young big guy. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm leaning into this. And then the third opinion is that something really bad must have happened for the Thunder to dump him. Basically for a single vet without any draft compensation back. So
what do you think? Well, and that was a thing, right? Like they could have got more in this deal, but I think they just wanted a defensive presence.
Well, I'm actually not sure that they could have got more. And I think that's where the issue lies here because it's a really interesting one. I suppose because too they can't really take back more draft assets. They've already got 30 first round picks. So what's 31 picks going to do for them? Like, I think they had to get a player back. And I think they did want something quite particular in a defensive-minded
They needed something,
who can shoot. I think that was like the three things. So I think that really narrowed it down for them. And then my final thought about this is that I think it leaves the Thunder really small because essentially it's Chet Holmgren and like four guards. So the starting lineup projected is going to be Jalen Williams, spelled E-N, at the 4, Caruso, Dort, and then SGA, which leaves them really small. So I think where my head now is going, okay, they trade 5 picks for a good power forward.
Yeah.
I think that has to happen, right? They can't walk into the season like that.
So what does the Kevin Durant trade look like?
Yeah.
He'll be
is that actually that crazy?
I think one of the most logical places to land Kevin Durant, there's been a couple of articles about it, is going, if Phoenix want to get rid of him.
Completely speculated, but yeah.
Yeah. But if Phoenix want to get rid of him, like if he's not happy in Phoenix, send him back to OKC because OKC have got all the picks and Phoenix have got none.
100%. Yeah.
Perfect. Match made in heaven. Let's see if they can work it out.
Look, I don't think we can read through all the responses, so why don't we just pick 2 each? Because otherwise it'll just be the episode about the Josh Giddey trade.
The Josh Giddey episode. I mean, that's one way to celebrate Boston's title. I'm not admit I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah. I just think we've got other things that are kind of cool to talk about.
Agreed. Who do you want to go with? Whose response do you want to?
So I think Mark Cargill, that's probably, I think that's a good response. Good for both teams. Josh checked out of OKC mid-season with a constant booing from the home team, which I think is a real thing, by the way, too. At some point, fan bases give up on players. Never wanted to lose Caruso, so I'm assuming he's a Bulls fan. But to get something decent, you got to give up something decent. Go Bulls. Yeah. And I think for me to add to that too is that I think the Bulls gave up so much draft equity to get Vucevic is that for them to get back a young player who was drafted really high for a veteran guard, like that is an absolute home run when you summarize it like that. Yep.
Yeah. What have I got? Andy Britannia. As a Bulls fan, I'd say OKC won the trade. From all accounts, we had 2 first-round picks lined up for a trade for Caruso and didn't take it. A straight swap for Caruso seems a bit bleak, as all accounts to the Bulls organization was to continue the build through the draft. Hate to see Elmer Fudd go, but bring on the Giddey goodness.
Yeah. So this is from Cody Martin. He's actually put a bit of thought into this. Point guard Giddey, shooting guard Kobe White, small forward Pat Williams, power forward DeRozan, and center, defensive-minded center. Trade Levine and Vooch. Kobe had a great season at point guard this year, but as someone who PCs Kobe, he'll play his best off the ball at shooting guard. getting fed dimes from Giddey. Bulls easily win this trade for me. So
Ooh.
yeah, that's a cool little team
I'm
construction.
I'm interested in DeRozan at power forward, but yeah,
He actually plays a fair bit of like small ball four for them. So
yeah,
and you can sort of interchange Pat Williams at the 4 and with the 3 with
true.
DeRozan. So
Yeah,
you know,
three for
like
DeRozan. Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Interesting one.
But I agree with him. They need a big guy to come in and like play D. But they've got big Andre Drummond, who did seem a bit up and down. But I suppose he's never really protected the ring, has he? The ring.
True. That's the defense side.
Any
of
more you wanted to touch on there, Ad?
Oh, look, stacks there, isn't there?
There's heaps.
Matthew Hull's got quite a ride up there. You've responded to a lot of these. Yeah, Matthew Hull. Bulls win. Shows they're about to clean house and start building an offense around a true ball handler that won't get injured. It's a sign that the older folks of the Bulls are probably next. As we chatted about, Russell Gibson could be the way Patrick steps up this year. Gids is also has experience around the rookies, and rookies that can get into final series. This will be good for Terry and Ao. Wonder if it can now get rid of Levine and DeMar for Clay, maybe even Lil KD. I'm sure Adam agrees. This is not an insane idea at all. Fair tackle, play on. There's a lot at play there, and it shows that the Bulls want to rebuild or they want to change what's going on.
Yeah, I'm still very confused about what the Bulls are doing. Like, to me, it wouldn't surprise me if they then did go to a youth movement, which, to be fair, I've been saying this for like 2 years now. But on the other hand, they could have just seen this as a really good opportunity to add good young talent for not giving up much. And now they're like, oh, we just need one more veteran and this will get us over the top. Like, that's, to me, the type of franchise this is. Like, I don't think that they're actually in a true rebuilding mode after this one trade. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's keep this straight here. Let's not jump to conclusions to think that now they're thinking, cleanly here.
No.
Alrighty. Josh Giddey, silver PSA 10. Population on this is 144. Last sold for just $60. Look, I've been very up and down on this, and I've flipped and changed around it. I said, dump this, get off it. When all that crap happened with Josh, we don't need to rehash that. And then when he dropped down to the $50 to $60 mark, I was like, this is the best buy that's probably out there. I'm going to triple down on this. I think it's $60 with the opportunity that he is going to be walking into. Even if he has a slow year one, and let's just say they can't clear the logjam of DeRozan and Zach LaVine and all that type of stuff, that's fine. It doesn't matter. I think his future in Chicago is going to be very good. And I think that he will fit with pretty much whoever else is there, so long as they can shoot the basketball. So him and Kobe are going to be totally fine. Pat, Will, and him, how they're going to coexist, I think that still needs to be proven. But in my head, that is definitely not a blocker. I think this is a really, really strong buy. Very interestingly, no one is selling him at the moment.
Very interesting.
So I think people are holding these.
I think there's a bigger... Well, and there's the demand. I'm sure there's demand with the Bulls fans. They see what the Bulls do, and the Bulls get a bit of a train going. There's a few
100%.
Bulls fans out there. There's 100%. A market.
Yeah.
That's a market team.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to change up the run sheet, Adam, just because it's my show and I want to do it. And I really want to talk about this next, and then we'll go to a quick break. Okay. So last week on the show, we spoke about the conspiracy theory of the Team USA women sitting down in a hotel room, drinking drinks, conspiring to get Caitlin Clark left off the team. And then there was an Instagram video that came out 4 days ago. So look, I'm reporting this as news, but do not take this as gospel because I haven't verified it. And I don't even know if it's true, but I don't even really care, to be honest. This is just like feeding my soul of entertainment right now.
We're believing the internet right now.
I believe Instagram. Yeah. So this is from @Ryan Telfer Show. I'll just spell it. It's just easier. RyanTelferShow. And he's basically reporting that 11 companies have now dropped off the women's Team USA sponsorship schedule because Caitlin Clark is not there. These companies are arguing Caitlin Clark brings a lot of bums on seats, brings a lot of eyeballs on TVs, but Caitlin Clark's not going to be there. So less people are going to be there, less people are going to watch, so on and so forth. We don't want to give you our money as a consequence of this. So I think this is a super, super cool narrative, and I think this is something that we have to now keep a watch on. And we need to be looking for the small stories that come out that are sort of start to allude, oh, maybe she'll be an injury replacement.
Yeah.
Oh, someone just got hurt. Now she's part of the training squad. Oh, hang on a minute. She's done really, really well in the training squad. Maybe we should make her the 12th man. Something like this. Maybe she still doesn't get, into the regular rotation. That's fine. But all the fans are chanting her name each game. They want to see Caitlin Clark. With a minute left of the quarter or the fourth quarter, Caitlin Clark gets out there and everyone goes wild and the sponsors are happy. Yep.
All right, so happy. Olympics, give it to me. Give me a top 3 fake news stories that get Caitlin Clark, like injuries, food poisoning scare. What are we... what's getting Caitlin Clark into the Olympic squad?
So there's the Kobe Bryant food poisoning story that he wanted a burger at 3:00 in the morning, and he was on the road in the hotel, and he alleges that the chef gave him a bad burger and gave him gastro. Right? Maybe that happens to
one of the vets,
Sabrina Ionescu, right? And then at the last minute, they have to call up Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, can you be our Batman and save our team? And then here she comes running through with a cape on and comes out and drops 18 points in one of the games. How about that? That's a good storyline.
All right. I'm going to go with a soft tissue injury.
You don't want some elaborate story that I just made up?
No. I do like the chef, the food poisoning, but I can't steal the food poisoning one. Yeah. Oh, actually, what about somebody missed their flight? Or there's visa problems in traveling or something.
Maybe a visa problem, sure.
I like that. Not being able to travel.
But then why would Caitlin not have visa problems?
She was fine. She just goes online, logs it. But there's like a problem with one of the players traveling.
Okay.
Yeah. Identity problems or like confused with maybe, totally. I don't know. That'd be good.
All right.
Watch this space.
Yeah, definitely.
Time for a break?
Absolutely. The Bangman, thank you so much for your ongoing support. We really appreciate everything you do for us, Amir. Amir and Team Bangman are coming out with products all the time. I touched base with Amir this week. I don't believe he does have currently a new product out. So the bronze edition is still available. 10 packs for $129. It is filled with an absolute heap of packets. I'm not going to read through them all because my mouth's feeling a little bit dry and I just don't have the spit to go through it all. But Prism Sallow, Prism Blaster packs, Mosaic Fanatics packs, Optic T-Maul, Flux Blaster, Select T-Maul. That's basically the crux of it there. Now, payment options, he's got it all. Pay ID, PayPal, Afterpay, ZipPay. Contact Amir via Facebook or Instagram, The Bangman. He'll hit you up. Also, I think we should mention too, Amir is breaking like crazy at the moment. So if you want quick filling breaks that are good value, get to listen to Amir do your breaks for you. Lots of fun and entertainment there with Amir and Team Bangman. So check him out. Thank you, Amir, for keeping our lights on and everything that you do for us, mate. It's very much appreciated. We are back. We're back. Adam, what did you think about the tunes?
Love the tune. Always love the tunes. And speaking of tunes, I have to tune in and watch Amir break by the sound of it. Yeah.
Listen to him go bang.
Yeah. Literally watch The Bangman. And he
needs to copyright Bang, I reckon. This is my business advice to him. Yeah. Alrighty.
Next up on the run sheet.
Let's start with a little bit of a short. This is not going to take us long to get through. All NBA forward Pascal Siakam intends to sign a 4-year, $189.5 million contract. I mean, if you're offered this much money, why would you not sign for that amount of money?
Why not? And I think it was a good move to get him to Indiana, sign him on for more money. Let's do it.
So there's a lot of talk around this contract in that when he was traded to them in the first place, it was almost a bit of a wink that
this is
traded here, you're also going to extend me. And there was some speculation at the time he was traded that he was going to go maybe to Sacramento.
Oh, wow.
Maybe to New York. New York was like very, very, very briefly mentioned. And my sort of theory around this is that the Kings didn't want to pay him $189.5 million. And that was one of the top 1, 2, and 3 reasons why he wasn't traded to there. So Indiana's strategy has been to sign and trade for veterans because getting free agents there is just something that they just cannot do into Indiana. So, I really like, I like this so much about like the team building aspect in the NBA and just like the psychology around that. Okay, so we're Indiana. No one wants to come and sign with us, the free agent. That's fine. We'll sign and trade dudes. We'll get Pascal Siakam. We'll get Tyrese Halliburton. No problems at all.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
Yeah. Speaking of Sacramento, looks like Malik Monk re-signed in Sacramento.
Did you think that was an overpay, underpay, or just right?
I think that was probably just right. It was probably just right for Malik Monk.
Yeah.
And he's really found himself in Sacramento, as sad as that makes me after he left Los Angeles. But yeah, I liked him.
Hey, mate, I think we actually left out a really important detail here. So with the new media agreement that's coming into play basically this year and the year after, what we used to think about the max contract of sort of the $30 to $35 million mark is now going to be $50 million. So,
okay.
Yeah. So if you're getting Malik Monk for 20 a year, that's sort of like 40% of the max. You're like, actually, like that's pretty good.
When you think, yeah.
So Pascal Siakam for less than $50 million a year, kind of like, okay, that's maybe we wanted to get him for a little bit less, but we had to pay him a bit more because we're in Indiana. No one wants to come and live in Hicktown, but here we are.
That's true.
189 million reasons to stay. But yeah, so Brandon Ingram is seeking $50 million a year from the Pelicans, which makes me think that there's going to be another sign and trade on the cards very soon. I don't think you can fit Zion and Ingram on the roster when you're paying those two guys that much money.
Who would you keep?
I think you have to bet on Zion. I think we know
the Pelicans are all in on Zion. Yeah, unfortunately, I think Ingram's the better player.
I think Ingram is a very good player, but I also think we know who he is, and I think at this point, if he was going to win a championship, he was going to win a scoring title, he was going to be All NBA. It's not like he hasn't had the opportunity to do these things.
Agreed.
So they made him the go-to guy on the Olympic team, and then sort of halfway through the tournament, Steve Kerr was like, "This is not working. Like
this doesn't work. Let's change it."
Yeah. Alrighty, Spicy P, Silver PSA 10, population 211, last sold for $56. So, Josh Giddey money?
Yeah.
The last year, he's down 41%, which really hurts me.
Which is,
the last 3 months, he's down 15%. So, look, I mean, this is another comp we can just really do quickly. Would you like a Spicy P or would you like a Josh Giddey?
I'll probably take Giddey, and he's younger.
Look, I actually think Siakam's the better player.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of value to be had here, but I think the reality of this is that the more popular people are just more popular, and Spicy P is just not that popular. I think there's a lot more movement potential with Giddey, though. I think he could see a real spike. I think he is going to be a lot more volatile, whereas I think someone like Spicy P is going to just be a bit of a boring sort of move along type thing.
Yeah.
This next piece is a comedy piece for me. So Monty Williams has been fired by the Detroit Pistons. He is actually owed $65 million left on that contract, which he will receive every single dollar of that.
Of course.
So when coaches get fired, basically how their contracts are structured is there's no buyout. You get 80% or 75%. If you sign a contract as a coach, you get 100% of those dollars.
Get your money. Good.
Also, comedy-wise for this is that he is also still being paid by the Phoenix Suns. He was owed $20 million from them. So basically, two teams have said to this gentleman, we will pay you $85 million to not coach our team, which I think, I feel like that's something that would hurt my feelings, Adam. I'm not going to lie to you.
I don't know. I reckon I could pay for enough therapy for it not to hurt my feilings anymore.
And you probably still have about
$85 million. Yeah,
$75 million left over. Or $84 million, right? Yeah.
$1 million of therapy, I think I'll be fine with the other 84.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. When they said, have you ever seen someone get paid so much to do so little?
He is the winner.
Well, actually, no. I did put a photo of Ben Simmons up.
I don't know about that, man. I think $85 million to go away is
yeah, it's true.
That's next level.
That's pretty true.
So, okay, all jokes aside, I've had my fun here with Monty. Look, I actually think he's a really good character guy. I think he's an okay coach. I think with the right assistants directing the offense, he's a fine NBA coach, right? And I think that the reason why the Pistons hired him is because he's like, a high quality, good character guy who was going to lead this young team to a better outcome in 4 years' time. Not this year. I think this is the part where I think he's been done pretty dirty. That roster was terrible. That roster was horrible. Like
roster was beyond horrible. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think it's fair to then fire that guy so soon after. It's really, to me, a bit like Brett Brown in Philadelphia when they sort of got good and then he was let go. Like that, I found that quite difficult to sort of...
To swallow.
Yeah, to sort of pass in my head. I was like, well, hang on a second. Like,
sure.
You hired this guy because he was a good coach. He's done all the hard yards. Let him have the success, And I sort of feel a little bit the same with Monty, but at the same time, he's also getting paid at $85 million. So we don't need to feel sorry for Monty, do we?
No. I think he'll be all right. Yep. Even if he has to spend $2 million on therapy, I think he'll be all right.
That's all right. He will get there.
He'll be fine.
Alrighty. So last week I put into the run sheet a Pippen 1-of-1 that we didn't actually get to talk about. And in the meantime, it's actually sold. So why don't we go to last week's post and we'll talk about the card, how it's been broken down. If you would like to see more about this, one of my favorite Instagram people, whose name is absolutely eluding me now, but here it is, at The Real Guy, he actually also broke down this card this week. And he basically explained about all the different variations of this card and why this one is so rare, but I'll break it down in 2 seconds because that's my style. This card's a 1-of-1. The other importance of this card is that it's basically one of the first 1-of-1s that was put out into circulation. So, when they're sort of doing new ideas, trying new things, this was one of the things that stuck. This is basically one of the things that, really drove collectors crazy. So
yeah.
Another example out of this set that also is 1-of-1 was the Dennis Rodman. That sold for $81,000. Now, knowing what we know now, so we're moving 1 week into the future. So it's really interesting to me that the Rodman sold for $81,000 and the Pippen just sold for $31,000.
When did the Rodman sell though? Like if that was in 2022, that's an $8,000 card selling. You know what I mean? Selling for $80K. I'm talking about the COVID spike.
So the COVID crazy could be part of it. Just hear me out for a second here. So let's just use the Josh Giddey, Pascal Siakam thing. Let's just call Scottie Pippen, Pascal Siakam for this thing, the better player, but just not that popular. And Rodman has that real...
Yeah, Rodman's got an appeal
flamboyant...
to it.
People love his autographs. They love chasing his cards even today. And people really relate and, worship that guy, And look, maybe you're more right about this as the time of the sale is really
time of the sale.
But...
I mean, I'm obviously a Pippen fan, so like I don't see the logic about the sale. Like, yeah.
Look, I think this is a nice card, and I think that it's collectible, but this doesn't make me froth. So, for example,
there'd be a Kobe in this set as well because 98.
I actually haven't read through the checklist, but there's a very good chance that he should be in the checklist, and there's a very good chance that he is in it. But like another comp to this is the 1-of-1 Tatum we just spoke about. Like, would you rather have this Pippen 1-of-1 or the green Kaboom?
Yep, good point. Good point.
Probably. No disrespect to Scotty. Like, I love Scotty and everything he did, but that green Kaboom is much more aesthetically pleasing than this bad boy.
I tend to agree.
Yep.
I tend to agree. That 1-of-1, the green color match. I'm green with envy for the color match of the Celtics, of how good the color match is. But yeah, I get what you mean. As far as 1-of-1s go, it's not setting the world on fire.
Yeah. But still very important to the hobby. So that,
of course, yeah.
Yep. This next story is from our friend at Eric Whiteback, who is not actually Eric Whiteback, who sold his account, but
formerly known as Eric Whiteback.
Yeah,
now known
the
as
artist known as. Yeah. So actually, the new dude put his face up on the account this week, so it's no secret that he's taken over it. That's
it'd be funny if his name was actually Eric, sold it to someone named Eric.
That he was christened Eric, or he changed his name to Eric.
Imagine you go to the birth certificate, like the registry, and say, "I'd like to change my name to Eric. Why? Because I bought a Twitter account at Eric
White." Yeah, thank you very much. Put an @ before that. Yeah.
Big news.
Yeah, so I'm very much on the fence about this. I thought we would talk about it because of who is being featured in the card. It's a Michael Jordan Jumpman PMG that they're going to make out of the Skybox Metal universe. This is going to be an unlicensed product, and this is where I'm a little bit hung up. On the flip side, this is also really clever because the Jumpman uniform itself wasn't in an NBA uniform. It was in a Nike red and black uniform. So this is kind of a very clever place to put this insanely iconic picture onto a card set that they're also going to do as red number to 100 and the green number to 10 PMG. So look, I think these are going to be very heavy collected. And
Yes.
I don't think we need to sort of say that, too much more, but
I think it's pretty obvious these are going to be sought after.
Yeah.
For sure.
Is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Where do you sit with this card? Are you going to be buying some Skybox to try and
just to try and get this card?
Yeah.
Buy a box and see how you go.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I would. I'd be interested. Depends if the price of the boxes are driven crazy up because of this product in there. Maybe I'd think a bit differently, but
generally the unlicensed is 40%, 50% of what you're paying for fully licensed. So
yeah.
Anyway, all right. Look, I'm very much undecided about this. I think that they've done a really good job creating a chase card that people will want to buy, and just the fact that you were even contemplating buying a box, I think they've done their job. That's what they're supposed to do.
I'm a sucker for this stuff. I am.
If it's good, yeah, that's totally fine. I'm totally fine with this, So
yeah.
Hey, actually, just a really quick segue on this, and then we'll go to a quick break. The man who took the original photo of Jordan in this Jumpman position sued Nike unsuccessfully because they took his original Jumpman photos that he sold to Nike, by the way, reshot the photos in a more aesthetic, and like, for example, this photo was shot by the second Nike photographer. But he said, no, that's actually my, my proprietary work. This is my original idea.
He sold it.
Yeah. So he's never won.
No, I imagine he wouldn't, idiot. Yep. Well, you never know, right?
Small piece of useless information for you.
Oh, it's interesting.
All right, time for a break, and we'll be back.
Right.
We are back. Adam, this is our last little run.
We're in the home stretch.
There's 6 things here, so let's see if we can do these 6 quick hitting.
It's like a fast 5, but it's a fast 6.
Yeah, let's see how we go.
All right.
Let's try not to segue. Maybe why don't we keep our objectives small?
Sure, let's try that. It'll be a top 10 anyway.
This is a feel-good story for me. This is from @DarrenRovell on Twitter. 20 years after Carmelo Anthony told me he thought he should get paid for his Syracuse jersey sales, he now will. As Mitchell & Ness announces plans to release an orange Melo Q's jersey sale very soon. So I'm all about this. I think that young men being collegiate athletes and not getting paid for their likeness on singlets, in video games, in all the other promotional stuff that they did, in addition to that, all the sports gambling that happened all the way through the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, like that's some nonsense.
Yeah.
And look, I'm all about also young men getting an education for free, and I get that whole win-win thing, but I think we can all pretty well agree that there was some liberties being taken when the NCAA is $1 billion business and these guys aren't getting paid. Like, you see the dirty side of it. So
yeah,
I'm very happy for this. This is a great feel-good story for me. The real question is, Adam, would you buy a throwback Carmelo, or is there another throwback jersey that comes to mind that you'd be interested in picking up?
University, probably not.
Yeah, like any college jersey that... Is there like an old college player like back in the day that you like quite used to enjoy?
Oh God, or a player that I followed that I would like their college jersey. Michael Jordan's North Carolina.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet, right? Yeah.
Like, well, I was like, I wouldn't pick a college one, but like a lower merit and like a Kobe.
Yeah.
His high school jersey, sure, but that's not.
I don't know if they've got a high school agreement, but yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah,
but,
totally.
Yeah, for sure. Like some of the like a Davidson, Steph Curry jersey.
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah. Yeah. Maybe North Carolina Jordan jersey.
I'm going to nerd out here.
Okay.
I'm going to say Tyus Edney. I used to love that guy.
Yeah. Okay.
And I used to like copy, the way he used to like dribble the ball and pass the ball and all this type of stuff. It was like this whole sort of weird obsession I had with this dude. So I think if there was a college or even early NBA Tyus Edney, I would probably
Actually,
one of those.
Michigan State, Magic Johnson, Michigan State.
Oh, that's actually pretty awesome.
Yeah. For sure.
Alrighty. Now, this is actually, again, something that I put together on socials a few weeks back, but we've just had a really busy schedule the last few weeks with content, so this has just gone by the wayside. But we have to talk about this because...
We do.
So if there's 3 reasons we have to talk about this. 1, it's entertainment. 2, it's funny. And there is a funny part to this story. And also 3, this is not going away. We're going to be dealing with this for the next 20 years. So, just get used to it, At Legion Hoops, 2 individuals have been arrested for conspiring to defraud a sports betting company. One of the individuals placed a $80,000 parlay on the under of Jonte Porter's points, rebounds, assists, 3 steals, and blocks, the same game that Porter intentionally took himself out of the game. And I'm using air quotes here, due to illness. We've already covered
wasn't
this.
Feeling well. Yeah, we covered this a while ago, but this is, yeah.
The bet was successful and netted a profit of $1.04 million. Now, we also covered this on our Facebook page, and basically the comedy part of this is that the guy was arrested and he had cash and traveler's checks, and guess what country he was fleeing to?
Traveling to or fleeing to?
Yeah, this is not a joke, by the way.
He was coming here, wasn't he?
He was coming to Australia, yeah. So the joke is like he was going to hook up with the card porn scammer who's also hiding out in Carlton, Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah, that's it. We've become.
Hey, do you reckon card porn's going to come to the hobby hangout?
Oh my god! Can you imagine there'd be just unbelievable trades everywhere?
That's right. Ultra rare 1984 sealed Fleer is for sale at a bargain price, everyone.
Oh god!
Snap it up at the hobby hangout.
That could be our question for when we go to the hobby hangout, asking the vendors: have you seen card porn today?
Have you seen Juan?
Juan. He's on the loose. Has he got any of his associates here?
Juan and Jonte Porter's handler, are they in the house?
In the house. Comes in 3s. Who's the next one?
Alrighty, I've had my fun.
All right.
Next. Panini's future. So
you said you'd had your fun.
No, actually, I haven't. Panini have made a huge acquisition. They have signed the PFL MMA League to their card collecting roster. You will get the signatures of the likes of some completely unknown male and female MMA athletes.
Awesome. Get on it.
I'm not too sure where all this is going, but look, so my serious take on this, though, is that I think Panini have clearly seen the writing on the wall and they're trying to get into some other sports and get some prospects maybe and get some things that people are going to be interested in. The other thing they've done, too, is like a EuroLeague product, and in that product is Luka autographs, Paul Gasol. So we're talking about chase cards before, like the PMGs. You'll go out and buy a box of Skybox. Would I go and buy a box of EuroLeague to get a Luka autograph? Yeah, I probably would, mate. So
interesting. Nice little angle to try and
in all seriousness, this actually makes me a little bit sad to know that this is kind of what Panini is going to be like dealing with.
Yeah.
It's like when you hear a professional athlete say, I used to fly chartered planes. Now I'm in a bus going around the country playing in these like dusty gyms, like I feel like Panini is now catching the bus, selling their cards in dusty gyms instead of, on the stage at some massive arena.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
brutal.
Poor Panini.
Now, this one, if we've covered this already, I do apologize. But again, I'm pretty sure we haven't. This is from Fanatics. They've got their own collectibles marketplace. Have we done this?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I know I tagged you in a thing about eBay and PSA.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like there's some stuff brewing, but Fanatics have got. Is it a little marketplace where they're doing auctions and stuff?
Yeah, so basically they're taking over PWCC, and then it won't be called that anymore. They're going to be rebranding it to Fanatics, which I think is actually a good move, to be honest, because
PWCC
taking over someone's like well-established, processes. Like I think actually the processes on PWCC are fine.
Yeah.
But rebranding it to something that we now know is going to be the mothership makes a whole lot of sense. I think the other thing too in that space too is then you've got the combined eBay PSA vault, and that's what
Yes.
they're also talking about here. So then you can trade, card scan, their concierge services. They've got like the whole thing. So
Yeah. They're trying to get this huge one-stop shop thing happening.
this
I
is
do
all
think
part
so.
of that, isn't it? Like, yeah. And then
Yeah.
there's another note here about they're doing auctions with Sotheby's. But my understanding of that is that the Sotheby's will do very particular items. Yeah, here we go for
Yeah.
high end stuff.
Yeah.
And then just for your regular Joe type eBay, to higher end stuff, you'll use the PWCC/Fanatics platform on that there. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
All
But it
right,
just seems like they're really, they're just trying to reestablish sort of where the outlets are as far
they've got a
as
plan and they're definitely sticking to it. Yeah.
Yep, for sure. Next.
All right. Now, this next one is actually from a parody website, which is ironically turns out to be true. So if you need a bit of a giggle, follow at, I'll just spell this one.
Lameme James.
Lameme James. Thank you, Adam, for saving me. That was going to be very awkward.
James. So it's LEMEME_James.
I was going to call it Lameme. That's what I was going to say. So thanks. Yeah, that's better.
Lameme James.
All right. So we have got here a Priest Lauderdale 1997 Metal Universe PMG PSA 5.
Mm-hmm.
We have then got a Michael Jordan SP Signatures card, Beckett 9.5 graded, autograph 10. Now, these cards literally sold for the exact same price. So
I love it.
The question I was talking to you about this offline today is, do you buy a card because it's a particular card and disregarding what the player is? So the modern example of this is, do you
Kaboom?
buy the crappiest Kaboom that you can get your hands on, but you buy it because it's a Kaboom? And then on the other hand here, it's a bit hard for me to really explain this out in a way that sounds sensible, but on the other hand, you've got a Michael Jordan signature who is the better player. Is it a lesser card? I mean, I'm not even actually that convinced it's a lesser card, to be honest. But so I think for me to sort of explain this out a little bit further, I actually think that the Jordan went for unders. Yeah, so the Jordan sold for 7,300 and the PMG sold for 7,800. But
That's
obviously,
insane.
But obviously, there's a collector out there that was just waiting for that PMG to come up and literally said, "I will pay whatever it takes to get that card." And well, obviously, there was two collectors out there that said that. So what are you going for in this instance, man? Are you going for the super rare card that only comes up once every 10 years? Or are you going for the autograph that's of the tried and true, but there's a lot of them out there?
I'm taking the auto. I'm taking a Michael Jordan autograph over a green gem PSA 5 of a... Yep.
And just to... Like, my response to that is that I think in this instance, there's no real right or wrong answer, but I think that's what's also super brilliant about this hobby is that there's people that would go, actually, that Priest Lauderdale is almost like a one of one in the most important, in the most important set ever.
If that was the only PMG you owned, would you be happy with that? Say you didn't own a Michael Jordan autograph either, right? And you I need one card, one of those.
Yeah.
Would you be happy if you walked away going, it's all right, the other guy got the Jordan, I got the PMG of Priest Lauderdale?
Like, if I had a choice, I think I would probably go towards the Jordan. But in terms of collectability, there's a part of me that also understands it too. But I think for me, that's more of like an extortion piece where you're like, right,
how many people have got this card?
I'm going to hang on to this until someone makes me like a grandfather offer, or I can trade this for like, I'm way trading upwards. And you know how much I love a good trade. And I think that...
Good up trade.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
To roll it.
Yeah.
Roll it? Flip.
Roll it. We're only rolling it.
Rolling it on its corners. No wonder it's a PSA 5.
I feel bad for ending the show on this, actually. So we have to get one more story. So WNBA news, Cameron Brink, who is in the same draft class as Caitlin Clark, unfortunately tore her ACL in the...
That's why you joked about her being the injured one for the Olympics. It's already happened.
I don't reckon Cameron Brink would have been on the roster.
I don't think she's going to the Olympics anyway.
No.
Even if she didn't wreck her ACL.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. I'm just scrolling furiously right now.
Now you need some news.
All right, I've got something. It's better than ending on an ACL injury. On Instagram, at swat.team.cards, they have a beautiful Dyson Daniels Recon numbered to 10. It's that clear patch autograph where it's got the draft logo in the background. Fantastic card.
Can I end on... I Instagram too, but I used our friends at Card Ladder.
What do you got for me, mate?
I have an eye-catching sale.
Talk to me.
Immaculate 2022 collection. Dirk Nowitzki, Nikola Jokic, dual auto logo man.
Okay.
Raw sold for $50,400 on June 20th. So that was a couple of days ago. On PWCC. Yeah.
Right.
Two amazing big men of basketball, Jokic and Nowitzki.
So that really makes me think that Jordan went for unders.
Which Jordan?
The Jordan we did the comp
with
the Priest Lauderdale.
Yeah, the Priest Lauderdale one. Yeah. But these are logo. This is a logo man 1 of 1. This is not a Jordan. Like a Jordan 1 of 1 is $1 million card.
Still, just seems to me like to get a Jordan 9.5 for less than 8,000 US. That seems like a pretty nice little deal. All right, I think the fact that I'm talking about this like a couple of times now, I think it knows where I'm lying. I think I'm going to the Jordan.
Yeah,
and don't worry about the extortion trade. Oh, actually, right. Let's finish the show on this. You'll appreciate this. Bill Simmons suggested that the Celtics should use their first round pick to draft Bronny James, and then use the draft equity of Bronny to do like an extortion trade with the Lakers and say, "Hey, you want Bronny James? You need to give us like a good veteran for him back, and then we'll give you Bronny."
That's such a Boston thing to do.
How funny is that, though?
No, it's not funny at all. Actually, that's a little bit funny.
Can I be honest with you? I think 20 teams in the league should be doing this.
Trying to extort.
Yeah, it's stupid not to. Draft him. If he's available at 20, fine. I'll take him at 20. Now you give me something good for him. And now he's got JJ Redick to, basically be his puppet.
Oh, we didn't even talk about JJ.
I left it out of the sheet on purpose, mate. Just basically.
Oh, good. I've had enough people questioning me what I think about it, so.
I'm not even going to ask you. Don't care.
No,
I don't need to. What do we need to talk about?
I'm surprised they didn't announce it on JJ and LeBron's podcast.
And I'm surprised he didn't do a TV show for it and make an announcement.
The announcement, the decision.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. All right. There we go. We got through like 8 topics then.
Beautiful. Thanks everyone for listening.
Thanks for sticking in for the staying along for the ride. There we go.
That's right.
Got it all out. And we've got the hobby hangout in a week. Hopefully see a bunch of you that are down in Melbourne at that.
Yep.
And we'll catch you all soon.